half the rappers from the East Coast was there when I got shot. Nobody knew a thing. That's just like you come into the hood and the police ask them what happened, and everybody's like, I don't know. You know they lying.
According to the details of an audio recording that recently made it to social media, it seems Tupac knew that Diddy and Biggie were responsible for the attempts against his life, and that they either put out the hit or carried it out themselves. The audio recording was made during the period when Biggie and Tupac were not on friendly terms, and instead, they were competing in the rap industry. Tupac alleged that Diddy and Biggie were aware of his shooting but pretended not to know. Although there were some minor disagreements between Tupac and Biggie earlier, their first significant fallout happened when they were supposed to collaborate on a project for another rapper named Lil Sean, and Tupac got shot. Tupac went to Quad Recording Studios in Times Square, intending to go upstairs where Biggie and Combs were located, but unfortunately, someone robbed him in the lobby. Tupac was shot 5 times but fortunately survived the attack. Tupac believed that Biggie might have been involved, even though they eventually made it upstairs to see them right after the incident. It's possible that Tupac was correct in his suspicion that Biggie knew about the attack, as a close friend of Biggie reported seeing Tupac and told Biggie that he was in the studio. Biggie instructed them to take Tupac to his studio, but when he went to retrieve him, they encountered an armed man who told them to leave. Lil Cease informed Biggie of what happened, and when he went back for Tupac, they discovered that he had already been shot 5 times and robbed. It was never proven that Biggie or Diddy had knowledge of the incident, but it seems likely that they did because a few months later, Biggie released a B-side single called Who Shot Ya, which prompted Tupac to respond with the song Hit 'Em Up. In the song, Tupac claimed he had slept with Faith Evans, Biggie's wife, but she denied the accusation, stating that it was not how she conducted business. Despite being the biggest rivalry in music history, both Tupac and Biggie were tragically killed just as their careers were taking off. Tupac was shot and died 6 days later on September 7, 1996, while Biggie was fatally shot 6 months later on March 9, 1997. Although they later became rivals, it is undeniable that Biggie and Tupac initially had a close friendship. They bonded over their shared experiences of growing up without fathers and their love for music and rap. Tupac even provided advice to Biggie, suggesting that he focus on selling his music to women, which greatly benefited Biggie's career. In an excerpt of the book Original Gangstas, the untold story of Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Tupac Shakur, and the birth of West Coast rap by Ben Westhoff, it is revealed that Biggie was introduced to Tupac by a drug dealer at a Los Angeles party, and the two hit it off immediately. Dan Smalls, an intern who worked with Biggie, recalled the meeting saying, "Pat walks into the kitchen and starts cooking for us. He's in the kitchen cooking some steaks. We went into the kitchen and he had steaks and French fries and bread and Kool-Aid, and we just sitting there eating and drinking and laughing." That's truly where Big and Pac's friendship started. There was a genuine mutual respect between the two rappers and their respective friend groups. Biggie's friends recognized Tupac's talent as a rapper, while Tupac admired Biggie as both a friend and an artist. In fact, there are reports of Tupac giving Biggie a Hennessy bottle as a gift. They were so close that Biggie would stay on Tupac's couch during his trips to California, and Tupac would always make a point to visit Biggie's neighborhood when he was in New York. Essentially, they were like any other pair of friends. Their combined talents were evident when they freestyled together at the 1993 Budweiser Superfest at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Biggie frequently sought Tupac's advice on business matters and even asked him to manage his career, but Tupac declined, citing his preference to keep business separate from friendship and suggesting that Biggie stick with Diddy. Unfortunately, their friendship came to a halt following the Quad Studio incident, where Tupac was shot and subsequently came to believe that Biggie had prior knowledge of the attack. While in jail, Tupac reached out to Suge Knight, who not only posted his bail but also offered him a spot on the Death Row Records roster. Tupac accepted the offer, further fueling the rivalry between Knight's label and Diddy's Bad Boy Records. Any artist out there that wants to be an artist, stay a star, and won't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the records, dancing, come to Death Row. Knight had proclaimed a direct diss to Diddy. Tupac's fame skyrocketed after surviving 5 gunshot wounds, and he became even more popular. Meanwhile, Biggie released his legendary single Who Shot Ya, which some interpreted as a diss, although he denied any such intent. Following his signing with Death Row Records, Tupac went on to release one of the highest-selling hip-hop albums of all time, All Eyes on Me. He also became the first rapper to top the Billboard Hot 100 with California Love and How Do You Want It. Without hesitation, Tupac then released his most famous diss track, Hit 'Em Up, in which he accused Biggie of setting him up at Quad, imitating his style, and claimed to have had an affair with Biggie's wife, Faith. Tupac didn't stop there, as he also used interviews to express his love for Biggie and how much he had done for him. He believed that Biggie owed him more than just claiming he knew nothing about the Quad incident. Tupac also insisted that their feud wasn't as significant as the media portrayed it, and that magazines were exaggerating their beef. After Tupac's diss track, tensions between the East and West Coast hip-hop scenes escalated rapidly, with many people discussing and debating the feud. Upon hearing the diss track, Biggie was upset and asked Faith if the allegations made by Tupac were true. Faith denied any knowledge of the situation, stating that Tupac had expressed an interest in working with her and had not mentioned anything about an affair. Biggie chose to believe Faith and understood that Tupac was trying to hurt him. At Lil Cease's birthday party, Biggie gave an interview in which he stated that he would deal with Tupac if he came to New York. He also mentioned that he was planning to release a new album and that he didn't need the East versus West rivalry to sell his records. Biggie was correct in his assessment. Hit 'Em Up did not damage his reputation as an artist who did not discuss his personal life. The album sold just as well as his previous releases. However, Tupac's career was significantly elevated by the diss track, but tragically, he passed away soon after. Following Tupac's death, Biggie traveled to California in an attempt to end their feud. In his song Going Back to Cali, he made it clear that his issue was only with Tupac and not the entire West Coast. During a performance of Hypnotize, Biggie left with his entourage to attend a party, but upon returning, he was shot and passed away on March 9, 1997. Tupac's murder remains unsolved, and some have speculated that Diddy may have played a role in silencing him to elevate Biggie's status in the rap world. In the documentary Murder Rap, retired LAPD detective Greg Kading claimed that Diddy hired a Crips gang member to kill Tupac during the Bad Boy Entertainment and Death Row Records beef. Initially remaining silent on the subject, Puff Daddy finally addressed the reports that he ordered a hit on Tupac when questioned by the Breakfast Club host Charlamagne. Diddy said, "We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect. I appreciate you as a journalist asking." Thank you. The radio show host, along with his co-hosts Angela Yee and DJ Envy, commended Diddy for his candid and composed response to the controversial topic. Diddy claimed that he had evolved and matured throughout his career and had consciously made an effort to maintain his composure as he progressed in the industry. Despite their rivalry, both Biggie and Tupac were prominent figures in hip-hop. They were two of the most gifted and dedicated rappers of their time, using their platform to shed light on the struggles of life in impoverished communities, social injustice, and racial disparities. The primary distinction between Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls was their representation of different coasts. We hope that regardless of their conflicts, they were able to reconcile and renew their friendship wherever they may be now. One Twitter user said, "It's going on 30 years and Tupac and Biggie still hold a high impact in hip-hop. They ain't even make it to 30. Barely over 25. Another added, "I've always wondered who killed John Bennett. Tupac and Biggie just always blew my mind that such high-profile crimes couldn't be solved." Anyways, let's not forget that this video is based on theories and my opinions and should not be considered facts. That's it for today. Bye.